Your life changes the moment your mind stops operating from limitation and begins operating from creation. Most people wake up every day responding to problems, reacting to circumstances, adjusting to whatever life throws at them. They treat life like a battlefield they never chose, fighting enemies they didn't create with tools they never sharpened. This is how the majority survives, but it is never how the exceptional rise. Millionaire thinking begins with a mental repositioning, not upward, not forward, inward, into a place where vision becomes clearer than distraction, where creation becomes more natural than reaction, and where decisions become more intentional than emotional. A person who thinks like a millionaire does not wait for a window of opportunity. They build the window. They design the door. They construct the room. Their mind becomes an engine, not a passenger, not a reactor, but the architect of motion.
This mindset doesn't come from money. It creates money. It doesn't come from privilege. It creates privilege. It doesn't come from luck. It creates opportunities that look like luck from the outside. The shift in thinking starts with one fundamental belief. I build my life. Nothing outside of me determines my ceiling. Millionaire thinking is not a mindset of superiority. It is a mindset of responsibility. It means refusing to hand your destiny to circumstances. It means taking ownership of your direction. It means understanding that life will shape you by force unless you learn to shape it by intention. Millionaire thinking is the decision to think from power instead of fear. Once your thoughts stop obeying limitation, your life stops producing limited results. Your internal dialogue becomes your internal strategy. Your discipline becomes your direction. Your vision becomes your leverage. You stop thinking like someone trying to survive and start thinking like someone determined to build. The greatest twist is this. Your life was waiting for your mind to change, not the other way around. Nothing external needed to shift, only the way you interpret possibility. You rise the moment your thoughts no longer bow to your fears. Shift your thinking and everything else follows. Failure is not the enemy of success. It's the instructor that teaches the lessons success hides. Every person who rises learns this truth sooner or later. Failure does not break you. Failure exposes you. It reveals your weaknesses, your blind spots, your assumptions. It shows you where you relied on emotion instead of strategy, confidence instead of capability, motion instead of direction. The world teaches people to fear failure. Millionaire thinkers learn to use it. Because inside every setback is a blueprint. Inside every mistake is information. Inside every disappointment is data. For those who study their failures, the world becomes a series of experiments, not punishments. The average person collapses after failure because they interpret failure as a verdict. Millionaire thinkers rise after failure because they interpret failure as feedback. They study what broke. They examine what misaligned. They refine their approach. They adjust their strategy. They apply the lesson immediately. Every failure becomes a map. It becomes a guide pointing to the gap between where you are and where you want to be. The mistakes that once felt fatal become the very insights that make you unstoppable. The blows that hurt become the training that strengthens. You don't grow because you succeed. You grow because you learn. And you learn fastest when success isn't present to distract you.
Millionaires don't avoid failure. They accelerate their encounters with it. Because each failure removes an illusion and replaces it with clarity. The person who fails often learns fast. The person who fails rarely gains resilience. The person who fails strategically becomes powerful. Failure becomes a filter. Those who quit were never meant to rise. Those who continue were forged by the fire. Every lesson failure teaches becomes armor. When others break at the sight of obstacles, you move through them with understanding. When others panic under pressure, you operate with preparation. When others crumble at rejection, you adapt with refinement. You aren't afraid of failure. You're afraid of being seen failing. But the people who grow the biggest lives are the ones unafraid to look foolish while learning. They care more about becoming than impressing. Failure is not the opposite of success. It is the forge that builds the person capable of achieving success. If you learn from failure faster than others run from it, nothing can stop your rise.
Hard work builds a living. Systems build a life. Most people exhaust themselves chasing results, never realizing that results don't come from effort alone. They come from structure. You can work harder, faster, longer, but without a system, your effort eventually collapses under its own weight. Millionaires know a truth that the world ignores. A person can be impressive, but a system can be unstoppable. A system is a repeatable process that produces predictable results. It's the engine behind consistency, the framework behind momentum, the quiet force behind every outcome that looks effortless from the outside. The average person tries to use discipline for everything. Millionaires design systems, so they rarely need discipline at all. A system turns a goal into a sequence. A system turns chaos into clarity. A system turns a dream into a machine. And once the machine begins operating, it runs whether you feel motivated or not. It runs whether you're distracted or not. It runs whether you're tired or not. This is leverage, not the leverage of people, money, or technology, but the leverage of structure. People break. Motivation fades. Willpower fluctuates. But systems endure. The real reason people never reach the next level is simple. They rely on effort for what requires architecture. Millionaires design systems that keep producing value long after the initial effort is done. They don't rise because they work harder. They rise because they think structurally. To them, everything becomes a process. Content creation, skill building, income generation, time management, learning, scaling, decision-making. Once you build a system, your consistency becomes automatic. Your productivity becomes predictable. Your progress becomes inevitable. And here is the quiet truth behind every great empire. A system-built life eventually outperforms even the hardest working person. Because a system multiplies your effort. A system multiplies your time. A system multiplies your output.
Your success is not determined by how much you want it. It's determined by the systems you build to support it. Your goals reveal your desire. Your systems reveal your destiny. Hard work opens the door, but systems keep it open. Build systems, and you'll reach levels of success effort alone could never take you.
You can change your habits, your strategies, and your environment, but nothing transforms your life like changing who you believe you are. Identity is the final doorway. It is the one element people underestimate because it is the one element they cannot see, but it controls everything they do. Your identity determines what you think is possible. It determines what you tolerate. It determines how you react to pressure. It determines the level of success you consider normal. You cannot rise beyond the identity you carry. Every action you take is filtered through the question, who am I? If you see yourself as someone who struggles, you will find a way to recreate struggle even when opportunities appear. If you see yourself as someone who wins, you will find a way to create victory even when conditions are unfair. Identity is the thermostat of your life. If your results go above your identity, you sabotage. If your results fall below your identity, you elevate. This is why millionaire thinking is rooted not in money, but in identity. Millionaires aren't defined by their bank accounts. They're defined by their standards, their self-belief, and the identity they've chosen for themselves. Identity is chosen, not inherited. Forged, not gifted. Built, not discovered. Every level of success demands a new version of you, and every new version demands letting go of an old identity. You don't attract wealth by chasing it. You attract it by becoming the kind of person for whom wealth is a natural result. Not someone who wishes, someone who builds, someone who follows through, someone who invests, someone who learns, someone who adapts, someone who expects greatness not because they're arrogant, but because they're consistent. Identity shapes discipline. Identity shapes behavior. Identity shapes destiny. This is why the most powerful transformation isn't external, it's internal. It's the moment you decide the old version of you cannot continue into the life you want. You've been waiting for your life to upgrade, but your life has been waiting for you to upgrade. Your future opens the moment your identity expands to match it. A powerful identity makes success inevitable. Become the person your goals require. Your life will follow the new identity you choose.